Republicans don't actually do anything. And it couldn't be clearer than in this last Congress when the MAGA majority in the House was the least productive Congress we have ever seen in modern history. And it's about to get worse with the exception of laws passed to serve billionaires. This MAGA majority in both the House and the Senate doesn't look like it's going to be able to accomplish much because the Republican Party is a party of obstruction. They can't take action. They can't build things. They can't pass legislation. They can't make people's lives better, but they sure can complain. And two great examples of that, unfortunately, are Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor Greene, both of which Jasmine Crockett just filleted recently in a congressional hearing, but she's not done there because Jasmine Crockett knows not how to deliver a message once, but does the important work of delivering it again and again and again. And that is why she was recently on MSNBC calling out both Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace in a brutal takedown that I can't wait to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me. Now let's get into this interview with Joy Reid and Jasmine Crockett.
I don't really know what to say of Donald Trump's party because it's not the Republican Party. And for anyone who considers themselves to be a Republican, then I ask you, if you are someone that believes in small government, if you are someone who believes in family values, if you are someone who believes in law and order, there is nothing about the people that still have an R in front of their name that lines up with that. It is time to find a new home. I know that it can be easy to just say, well, let me select the R. But if we're going to get back to real standards and if we're going to actually get back to conducting business in the House, then we need to get some serious people. And right now, people play on the fact that they can make money. I literally had my team look up her FEC documents because in my soul, I was like, you must be broke. She's not exactly broke, but I have 3 times as much money on hand. She needs some more money. So this was about money. And the idea that you would do it at the expense of children or the idea that you would do it at the expense of one of your colleagues is a problem. And the fact that you would go so far as to try to threaten violence and then hide behind the fact that they don't believe in law and order and then want to play with me because she knew that I was about to go in on her. And she thought that maybe she was going to end up with a B6 moment like her friend Marjorie. And ultimately, she kind of did. Because people are asking for the T-shirts, and we gonna help them out.
I mean, the reality is to your point of trying to raise money, she's obviously looking for attention.
Yes.
This is somebody who said to her aides, allegedly, that she wanted during January 6th to get punched in the face so that she could go on Fox with a bruised face. This is somebody who knows that her party spent more than $200 million, $215 million on TV ads, specifically attacking trans rights. She used to be pro-trans. She used to be pro-LGBTQ. She's shifted and now has decided this is her mission. It's her ministry. Let me play the other thing that's on one of those pinned tweets on her, the video that's on it.
Coming from a party that can't define what a woman is and won't give women the right to privacy. You all want men with penises, chicks with in the bathroom with us. You want women to be forced to undress in front of men in the locker room and in dressing rooms. And it's so hypocritical for you to sit here and say and be, you know, screaming from the rooftops about right to privacy and civil rights when you don't respect women.
There's a level of vulgarity there that I think is undecorous for a member of Congress. The whole B6 moment, and we've talked about this, came from you avoiding saying
another B,
a curse word that starts with
another
B.
B.
And so the idea is that you went out of your way to not use a vulgarity with a fellow member. And that's how that whole moment happened. The fact that she not only felt the need to attack you and threaten you, but that she literally used another vulgarity on camera in the well of the House. Do you believe she should be sanctioned? And what do you make of her ethics and her morals?
Okay, so there are no ethics, there are no morals, but we know that that's throughout the MAGA kind of establishment, right? I mean, look at the guy that's about to swear in. He is setting the standard, and we know that that is very low. I do think, though, again, this goes back to if you really are a true red Republican, Is this what you think of when you think of family values? That the fact that your children cannot watch a committee hearing
on C-SPAN.
Correct, on C-SPAN, because you never know if somebody like this is going to just randomly. This was an organizational meeting. This was not a hearing about trans folk. I do want to be clear. But every single hearing, she is going to talk about trans people. She did it today when we had a telework hearing. I don't know what trans folk got to do with telework, but she was going to make sure that she brought it in. So she's going to keep doing it because for some reason she's making money. But I'm telling you, she's not even making good money off of it. Like, you probably could find something else to do. Yeah. Maybe start serving your constituents. Maybe actually come up with legislation that will help them so that they know that they will be safer when the next storm comes through on the East Coast. Maybe figure out how to bring some jobs to your constituents in South Carolina. Maybe figure out how you can have worker protections for the people that are working in factories in South Carolina. I got a long list of stuff she could do that would actually be helpful to not only her coffers, but also her constituents.
Yeah. This is why Jasmine Crockett is one of my favorite Democrats we have in Congress, because like I said at the beginning of this video, it's not enough to just hammer home that message once, to humiliate Republicans in the House and then just kind of move on with your day. It was a good time. No. Jasmine Crockett takes the moment and she makes what we need out of it a messaging opportunity about how distracted these people are with their own personal grievance. And the reason why that whole interaction started with Nancy Mace in the first place is because Jasmine Crockett was calling out Nancy Mace for simply being there to fundraise and get on Fox News. That's all she cares about. Attention and dollars for her campaign. Not making things cheaper. No. We don't care about the cost of eggs anymore. Now that campaign season is over for Nancy Mace and Donald Trump, they've moved on past that. And that's why I love Jasmine Crockett, because she's continuing to deliver this message. And speaking of messaging, I saw a very, very interesting clip of President Biden and Lawrence O'Donnell talking in one of President Biden's last interviews. And he was talking about how early on in his presidency, he thinks he may have made a few mistakes. He had a few regrets about the way he did or did not message. So I want to take a look at that clip and then have a little conversation about it.
Look, could I ask you about something you've said about your own political approach to this? And that is you said it was stupid as a joke, that you didn't sign the checks that went out to people from your administration when you were giving COVID help after Donald Trump put his name on the checks that went out during his administration. And when I heard that, I believe I know what that was. I believe that you were approaching it exactly the same way the guy over the fireplace, Franklin Roosevelt, approached Social Security checks. First one went out in 1940 when he's running for re-election, and it's signed by the chief disbursing officer of the Treasury, because it would be indecent and beyond his comprehension that a president would dare take credit for something that was legislated by the Congress and that was enacted that way. And I'm assuming, did it cross your mind to put your name on the checks?
Only in that I kept being here from other people. The president sent me a check for $7,500. The president did it. Why aren't you helping me? Well, it was a bill we did, but anyway. It did cross my mind, but what the mistake we made was, I think I made, was not getting our allies to acknowledge that the Democrats did this. So, for example, build a new billion-dollar bridge over a river. We'll call it the Democratic Bridge, figuratively speaking. Talk about who put it together. Let people know that this was something the Democrats did, that it was done by the party. That's different than me writing a check and me signing a check and saying, I did it. I'm not a very good huckster. I mean, you know, that wasn't a stupid thing for him to do. It helped him a lot. And it undermined our ability to convince people that we were the ones that were getting this to them. And so, but I don't think, ironically, I almost spent too much time on the policy, not enough time on the politics. Because, I mean, you know, you have some senators in Congress, Democratic senators in Congress, saying, well, you know, Joe Biden did this, and this is done by so-and-so and so-and-so, and this is the the new, built by the Democratic Party kind of thing. Let people know who was responsible for this happening. But it just seems, I know it sounds so stupid to say it, almost bad taste.
I really agree with President Biden's kind of regret here. And I do think it's important to continue to think about as we move forward in this Trump administration, in these 2 years in which we will not have power in either the House or the Senate, that we need to constantly be thinking about how we're framing our messaging. It's incredibly clear that the mainstream media does not want to help Democrats, and not even help Democrats. It doesn't want to acknowledge Democrats, and certainly did not want to acknowledge the successes of President Biden. And so we need to make a more concerted effort and do a better job of really focusing on making sure our messaging is clear, our accomplishments are acknowledged by the American people. Now, I don't think we necessarily need to sign every check with a big old Sharpie like Donald Trump did, but maybe why not? There are accomplishments. Let's take credit for them. Republicans who vote against our bills take more credit than Democrats who actually get them done. And that is something that absolutely needs to change. Our messaging needs to be clear, and it needs to be delivered in every place and every platform possible. And that is why it is so important that we continue to work to build liberal media and progressive media and online spaces like we are doing on this channel. And that is why I thank you so much for your support. And that's why we're going to keep working every day. And if you want to support us even more, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, as always, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.